guys back. Emotionally, what do you think it's like?
I think he's probably worried about, what people are going to do when he gets introduced. He's certainly tough enough to deal with booze and all that. But I think when you've done the kind of works that he's done in this city with the different programs and it's been a good part of your life, you kind of want people to like you and appreciate you. So I'm pretty sure he's worried about that a little bit. He might not admit it. And yet, I think when the ball goes up, he's going to turn into the killer that we all know. So, it'll be interesting. I'm pretty sure I'll zone out as soon as they walk out there. But I hope everybody applauds him and appreciates what he did for this organization.
And if they don't, do you think it's just part of the hurt that people,
Yeah, I think a lot of that has, and it's valid. It's, when the girl breaks up with you, you feel bad about that. You never know here. We cheer for the Lakers. So it's like, you never know what's going to happen. In my opinion, I think you should applaud him and, once the game starts, then you boom. Because we're going to be trying to beat those guys. So I hope that people appreciated what he did while he was here.
What's it like for you after all those games he helped you win, trying to provide the message against you?
It's exciting for me. I like going through the film and trying to see different areas where you can take him out. I know a few of their sets, even though you don't have a few days to prepare. That's why I think you have to be fundamentally sound with your philosophy. But I like going through the tape and watching him because I see some things that, like, man, we used to do that last year. And at the same time, your competitive juices take over and you're thinking of ways to counteract anything that he might do.
Any reflection of player? Just how different it is to see him
It is weird. He just worked out. I was walking out to the floor and I saw him, and then we talked for about 10 minutes just about family and how different it is to be a part. We bumped heads on a number of occasions because I challenged him, and I believe my role has always been that I always challenge the best players on the team, even when I played. It took him a while to get used to that, but I think he realized I was trying to help him get better. And I could always go back a number of stories about Chris, but the one time where he was going to knock this kid out last year, who said something to me in a game, and Chris was going to take his head off, and I realized that he had my back. And then last year I got a tech, and the guys were just amazed that I would get a tech. They didn't think a guy could get a tech without cussing. But I actually walked onto the floor like in Philly. I was at half court trying to get a tech, and we were flying to Miami that night. And Dennis brought back an envelope, and it had I don't know how many hundreds it had in it, but it was the money for my technical file, and Chris had sent it back to me because he was upset that I got a tech for that. And that's just who he is. He's always been about the team. As much as you hate not having him, you know that he's made up good stuff. And hopefully the people in LA will realize that.
We're only shooting about 28%.
I was the only one that did anything worthwhile that game, so he tried to give me my money's worth. And I gave it back. I couldn't keep his money, but it really showed me how in he is to team and how much he loves his coaches and his teammates. And those are the things you don't see on ESPN and different outlets. Those are the things that I wish people knew about our guys, those kinds of stories.
Can you describe what he was like, just policing the locker room?
Well, I think, he and David West did a really good job of making sure everybody bought in. And that was the biggest key for me when I came here last year. I came in preaching defense and execution. Those guys from day one bought into that, and it helped me as a coach. Chris is the guy that's going to get everybody together for board games and card games and bowl guys are up front still talking and playing, and Chris is right in the middle. And I'm like, I wish those guys would go to sleep, but it reminds you of a high school atmosphere. He was always the head of that.
You talk with some guys who played with him here last year. Can you describe what it was like? He said you and him would just go in closed door meetings and talk about the offense and just what those meetings were like.
Well, a lot of it was, I would challenge him on some issues. I didn't think he was doing this and that, and I think he's driving crazy because he'd be putting up a triple-double almost every night, and I'd ask him for more. And then I would get his input on, where he'd like to pick and roll, or what kind of angle would you like to run this certain play. I think in order to get the most out of your guys, you got to talk to them and understand how they think, and yet not bend on your absolutes. And some of our talks were pretty, challenging at times. I had to say some things that he didn't want to hear, but I think he always knew I cared about his game and wanted to help him get better. So it helped me as a coach to understand how the great ones think. I've been around a few of them, and they do have a different motor, and you have to challenge them, or else they'll just get bored.
One more.
All right.